Today, we are going to talk about how to have healthy and happy relationships with parents, siblings, and friendships. We will discuss how someone might recognize if they are in an unhealthy relationship and what kinds of communication skills can help us have the healthy relationships we want. What do you think are some benefits of having good relationships? Teachers, at this time, please pause video to allow students to answer. Some people believe we either have strong relationship skills or we don't. But the fact is, we're not born with the skills necessary to get along well with others. Instead, these skills are learned while growing up in our families. This means we can continually learn new skills to improve our relationships, and that's what we're going to focus on today. Our learning objectives include: I can identify healthy and unhealthy relationships. I can demonstrate healthy ways to set boundaries in my relationships. I know how to help and get help with unhealthy and unsafe relationships. I can identify protective strategies to protect myself. Turn to a partner and work together to place the words under the correct heading. Teachers, please pause video for 3 minutes for this activity. Which words were difficult to place under a heading? Why? What are some ways people have treated you that have helped you feel good about yourself? What are some characteristics of a healthy relationship? Let's take a look at characteristics of a healthy relationship. Treat each other with respect and fairness. Treat each other as equals. Are honest. Try to have clear communication. Never physically hurt or threaten the other person. Have shared interests. Also have separate interests. Enjoy being with each other. Support and encourage each other. What are some characteristics of an unhealthy relationship? Let's take a look at signs of an unhealthy relationship. Treat the other disrespectfully and unfairly. No shared interests. Frequently argue or fight. Doesn't care about the other person's feelings. They only do things with each other. No separate friends or interests. Don't enjoy spending time together. Push you to do things you don't want to do. What comes to mind when you think of an abusive relationship? Tries to control what the other person does, who they see, what they wear, or what they say. Throws or breaks things during an argument. Hurts the other physically. Jealous or overly jealous. Uses name calling, humiliation, or put downs to the other person. Lies, changes their story, or minimizes the other person's experience to make the other feel like they are going crazy. Physical, emotional, and sexual abuse and exploitation are all forms of abuse. Being aware of the characteristics of harmful relationships and making decisions about safe boundaries and limits promotes healthy relationships. Facts about technology abuse. Technology can be misused for a means of abusing someone. 50% of 14 to 24-year-olds have experienced digital dating abuse. 1 in 3 teens say they receive multiple texts an hour by a partner keeping tabs on them. 68% of teens say partners sharing private or embarrassing pictures, videos of them is a serious problem. 1 in 4 teens in a relationship say they have been called names, harassed, or put down by their partner through text or social media. Assertive communication and personal boundaries are fundamental in establishing healthy relationships. Learning to identify and establish healthy friendships provide a foundation to establish healthy dating relationships and marriage down the road. Having personal boundaries will help you search out positive peer influence and avoid negative peer influence. Personal boundaries are the rules and limits we set for ourselves within relationships. Boundaries should be based on your values or things that are important to you and your family. Knowing your boundaries before you enter a situation will make it less likely that you'll do something that you are not comfortable with. Take a moment and think about what your personal limits and rules are for your relationships. Turn to your neighbor and talk about a time when you were able to set a clear boundary. Teachers, please pause the video for a few minutes for students to do the activity. Setting personal boundaries. Body language. Face the person, make eye contact, use steady tone of voice at the appropriate volume level. Be respectful. Avoid yelling, put downs, or giving the silent treatment. Plan ahead. Think about what you are going to say and how you are going to say it before having a difficult conversation. Compromise. When appropriate, listen and consider the needs of the other person. There are 3 communication styles. Passive. Doesn't stand up for what they believe or think. Does not express their feelings. Little eye contact. Indecisive. Doesn't show anger toward others. Aggressive. Tries to dominate others. Relies on blame and criticism. Low tolerance for frustration. Loud, overbearing, demanding. Frequent interruptions. Assertive. Clearly state needs and wants. Good eye contact. Appropriate speaking volume. Confident body language. Listens without interruption. Steady tone of voice. Assertive communication is the intermediate between aggressive and passive style and is characteristic of people who are able to defend their own interests and opinions while respecting that others have their own. Assertive communication helps facilitate the relationship between two people. Effective communication includes the 4-part I message: expressing opinions, saying no firmly but respectfully, asking for what you want, initiating conversations, expressing positive feelings, expressing appreciation, and stating your strengths and abilities. An I message includes stating what you feel the behavior that affected you, the reason, and what you need in the future. Here are 4 points to help guide all kinds of situations assertively. These points help you demonstrate reflective listening skills, use of I messages, and clarifying what you need for a positive outcome. Assertive communication will help you. Show you understand the other person's needs and feelings. Express your thoughts and feelings using an I message. Be specific and clearly explain the actions you want from the other person. Mention the positive outcome from change. Have you ever said something you didn't mean or reacted in a way that you later regret? It's a fact of life that we will find ourselves in stressful, challenging situations. There is a difference between reacting and responding to a stressful situation. Reactions are instant and instinctive. They happen on autopilot. When you react, you don't think about the consequences. When you respond to a situation, you take a moment to consider the implications of your actions and words. The key to responding to a situation versus reacting is to give yourself a moment, 6-second rule, to make a conscious decision about what to do or say. The 6-second rule can help with assertive communication by thoughtfully considering a response from a place of respect and kindness for yourself and others. Let's practice setting a boundary with an I statement. For each scenario, form an I message to provide an assertive response. Before responding, consider what your wants and needs might be in each situation. Be sure and use the 6-second rule before you respond. Teachers, pause video for 5 minutes for this activity. Then ask for students to share with class. What can I do if I've tried to set healthy boundaries and the person is still mistreating me? Report to your parents. Report to a teacher, counselor, student resource officer, or an administrator at school. In the relationship, report to stop it. Those who abuse or mistreat others count on their victims not saying anything. You have the power to prevent bad things from happening to your friends when you report potentially dangerous things you see or hear to a trusted adult. Let's take a look at the benefits of reporting to help protect yourself and others against abuse, assault, sexual harassment, and violence. Here are some examples of the impact you can make by reporting. Make the call to save a life. During each school year in Frisco ISD, hundreds of reports are made on the Stop It app pertaining to friends who are being bullied, harassed, depressed, suicidal, or are in unsafe situations. 2 high school students in California saw a presentation on sex trafficking and made a call to local police when they saw suspicious activity on a Facebook account. Their report led to a year-long investigation that eventually revealed 69 more victims. Sex trafficking is one form of trafficking in the United States. It is a billion-dollar industry worldwide. Traffickers will use force, fraud, and coercion to induce their victims to perform sex acts against their will. By creating a climate of fear, traffickers are able to manipulate their victims to do almost anything. As long as the victim believes the trafficker is capable of carrying out threats, the victim will remain compliant. Sex trafficking is one form of human trafficking. It occurs when a person is forced to engage in a sex act or pornography against their will in exchange for anything of value, such as food, shelter, drugs, or money. Quick facts. Every year, minors in America are victimized in the human and sex trafficking industry. Any age can be exploited, but commonly recruited ages range from 12 to 17 years old. Traffickers prey on vulnerable youth, hurting, abused, or bullied, runaway or homeless, lonely or disconnected, wanting someone to look out for them. It is important to clearly communicate personal boundaries and respect your own boundaries and those of others. All individuals have the right to refuse sexual contact. Predators are people who access sites where students visit and look for potential victims. Here are a few suggestions to protect yourself and your friends. Always let your parents know where you are going. Travel in a group. Do not respond to strangers' communication efforts. Save messages and photos that are from strangers or are threatening or sexual in nature to show your parents. Watch out for your friends and talk to them if you see something that seems suspicious. Don't keep secrets or share secrets with a stranger or someone you have recently met. Go to a parent, guardian, or trusted adult at school to report suspicious and unsafe behavior. In summary, in a healthy relationship, you find trust, respect, assertive communication, equality, and support. Use assertive strategies like iMessages to set healthy boundaries. Report abusive relationships to an adult at home and school. If you suspect trafficking, report it. Report to a trusted adult at home and school. Report to your Stop It app. Call 911.